My mother would say, "Why are you always playing alone?" And I would say, "I'm not playing, Ma. I'm fucking serious." They first noticed I was strange when I insisted on listening to the circus on the radio. I guess I was a bad boy. Besides shitting in my pants, I would also shit in other people's pants. Eventually she sent me to a child psychologist. It was all the vogue at the time. So I went, and I honestly believe he was crazier than I was. I should have stabbed him many times in the eyes with a railroad spike while I still had the chance. I consider it a lost opportunity. One problem was that my mother was very strict, and on top of that she was a physically imposing woman. Thinking back, the person she most reminds me of is Charles Kuralt. I didn't really like her, you know. I remember staring at the orphanage and feeling envy. Of course, it wasn't all bad. I have some pleasant memories, too. Every Sunday after church, my mother and I would buy the Sunday papers and walk home together, and then she'd get drunk and try to make pancakes. In a way, I take all the blame, though. I was hard to handle, and it wasn't easy on her. As I said, I'm 63 now, and she still isn't over postpartum depression. Yet she's a typical mom. She still thinks I'm going to be tall. And you know something? Her wish is coming true, because she's getting smaller. Soon I will be, too. I guess the thing I miss most about childhood is riding piggyback. And here's something I don't tell too many people. I still like to ride piggyback occasionally. I really do. And I don't mean across the room. I'm talking about long trips. I went to Florida last winter. Piggyback. Fortunately, I have very indulgent friends, and I pay top dollar. Why are there no recreational drugs taken in suppository form? A tree. First you chop it down, then you chop it up. If a painting can be forged well enough to fool experts, why is the original so valuable? Why does it always take longer to go somewhere than it does to come back? If you can't beat them, arrange to have them beaten. No one ever mentions when the swallows leave Capistrano. What, do they just die there? And how do we know it's the same swallows every year? The swallows know that on March 19th, the tourists come back to Capistrano. We have mileage, yardage, and footage. Why don't we have inchage? They say, let's stop underage drinking before it starts. Please explain that to me. Sounds tricky. The news story said someone had overcome a fatal disease. Wow. I put $1 in one of those change machines. Nothing changed. Now that the year 2000 is here, I hope the crime of the century happens real soon, so I get to read about it. They say if you outlaw guns, only outlaws will have guns. Well, shit, those are precisely the people who need them. I once found a throw rug in a catch basin. One of the best expressions in the English language is, "Who says so?" I guarantee if you keep saying, "Who says so?" long enough, sooner or later someone will take you into custody. Beethoven was so hard of hearing he thought he was a painter. I went to the Missing Persons Bureau. No one was there. Meow means woof in cat. When primitive people practice the rain dance, does it rain at the end of the practice? And if it doesn't, how do they know they did the dance correctly? If you live to be 100, your lucky number goes up by 1. Amy Vanderbilt, the foremost authority on etiquette, committed suicide and apparently didn't have the courtesy to leave a note. They keep saying you can't compare apples and oranges. I can. An apple is red and distinctly non-spherical. An orange is orange and nearly spherical. So what's the big problem? After a flood, where do all the rowboats go? When Popeye blows through his pipe, why doesn't he get sprayed with burning ash? George Washington's brother was the uncle of our country. If you fall asleep on the couch in a house where a woman is present, there will be a blanket or a coat covering you when you awaken. When blowing out your birthday candles, suppose you wish for one candle to stay lit. Is it possible for your wish to come true? The day after tomorrow is the third day of the rest of your life. Why must hailstones always be the size of something else? And if it must be that way, why don't they have hailstones the size of testicles? I often think how different the world would have been if Hitler had not been turned down when he applied to art school. So far, the Ku Klux Klan has not produced any really great composers. You know, when you look at some of Picasso's paintings, it makes you wonder what kind of woman he visualized when he masturbated. You know, we use the sun to make electricity, and then we use the electricity to operate sun lamps and tanning machines. Prefix has no suffix, but suffix has a prefix. If a really stupid person becomes senile, how can you tell? I read somewhere that in the last census, 1.6% of the people were not counted. How can they know that? What exactly is viewer discretion? If viewers had discretion, most television shows would not be on the air. Remember, inside every silver lining, there's a dark cloud. Dogs lead a nice life. You never see a dog with a wristwatch. What exactly is mid-air? Is there some other part of air besides the mid part? I'd like to live in a country where the official motto was, "You never know." It would help me relax. The reason they call it the American dream is because you have to be asleep to believe it. It goes without saying that I'm not the only person who has noticed this, but I never got to spell it out my way before. Comedy's nature has two sides. Everybody wants a good time and a couple of laughs, and of course the comic wants to be known as a real funny guy. But the language of comedy is fairly grim and violent. It's filled with punchlines and gags and slapstick. After all, what does a comic worry most about? Dying. He doesn't want to die. Geez, I was dying. It was like death out there, like a morgue. I really bombed. Comics don't want to die, and they don't want to bomb. They want to go over with a bang and be a real smash. And if everything works out, they're successful, and they make you laugh, they can say, "I killed them. I slaughtered those people. I knocked them dead." And what phrases do we use when we talk about the comic? He's a riot, a real scream, a rib-splitting knee-slapper. My sides hurt, my cheeks ache. He broke me up, cracked me up, slayed me, fractured me. He had me in stitches. I busted a gut. I get a real kick out of that guy. Laugh? I thought I'd die. Well, that's about it, folks. I hope you enjoyed hearing my book. I'm going home now and write my second book. If you'd like to come over to the house and listen to me type, you're perfectly welcome to do so.